Hello, guys, welcome to a new show called My Community, My Concern. I am here with my co host, Faith Grips. She has been serving the community for I don't even know how many years now, and I'm just going to allow her to introduce herself to you guys.
My name is Faith Greaves, and I am a community activist. I am very involved in the community. I am an advocate. It's always about what is the need of our community. And when we think about a community, what is it? It really is a place, because I hate talking about myself. As you know, I'm running away from it. People living together who share values, principle. There's things that pull them together. The black community is so diverse within itself because
Interesting.
when we break it down, we have so many different people coming in from different walks of life. But how we perceive ourselves, how do we perceive our notion? What is it that we tend to do together to make things work for us as a people, as a community? So that is always and was and will be forever my interest, to see how we can pull together, how we can work together. And so this is really who Faith Greaves is. She's about community. She's about ensuring that her people are okay as well, because they're marginalized. They're subjected to a lot of negativity around them. And how do we grow? How do we empower them? Because that's key if our goal is to move forward.
Well, thank you, Madam Faith, for sharing your passion about you being a community activist and what led you to go into this because you have a desire to see your community coming together. You mentioned something about even in our black community, we are so diverse. Somebody might wonder, okay, what consists of the black community? Diversity in the Caribbean, the Africans, what really consists the black community?
Well, we have a lot of shared values. We're all stemming at the end of the day from the motherland, the continent. And so that pulls us together, although some of us don't notice or acknowledge that. There's things that we have in common. One thing in particular, when it comes to serving God,
Faith, yeah.
our faith.
Yeah.
Our faith cannot be tarnished. Our faith and belief is something that holds us and brings us together. In regards to our moral values, in the sense that when we were kids growing up, you can never see an adult and not say hello. Today, it's different because, again, we come in and we're trying to adapt. Instead of sharing our cultures with others, we want to adapt what they're doing. So you have that. Our food, we're going to use for one example for consciousness, is our plantain. We all love plantain.
Yeah.
It's like a staple that we all appreciate. We all care about our children. Respect, manners, those are things that pull us together as a community. Even when we don't speak the same language, there's facial expression that we understand what that means, body language, what that means, it's good or it's bad. We know what that means, so it pulls us together. So the diversity is there in reference to our language that we speak, how we prepare our meals, but there's those key that we just cannot move away from: our faith, our love for our people, our love for community. We are industrious. We are creative. We are trendsetters. And we could go into that even further to breaking it down. So although there's diversity, there is that beauty within us. And it's from one extreme to the next in regards to how we look, how we put ourselves together, who's going to entertain who at the table. But at the end of the day, we're one people.
So could I also say that we have a common struggle? Because whatever a person from the Caribbean or a person from Africa, it's as if we live in a society, as long as you have this skin color, black or brown, we are categorized in terms of our struggles. You know, when you go to a particular neighborhood, the struggles of the people. It doesn't matter if they're from Caribbean or Africa, as long as they're like you said, the commonalities.
Yes.
So I could pinpoint that we share a common struggle.
Yes.
That brings us together as a people, as a community.
Of course. The color of our skin, it's like a badge of shame for others. We embrace that. That's us. It doesn't matter who we are. We are considered marginalized ones in community.
And even they call us visible minority. I always wonder why that word visible minority. It's a very disrespectful term.
It is.
Like, these people, they're a minority, we have to make them visible.
So yes, that term is a disrespect to the race, but we also allow it because we don't say, no, we're not accepting it. We accept it. Whatever labels we are given, we gladly accept them because we don't push back and say, no, this is not acceptable. I'm an African woman. You're an African man. You know, even the term black, but we use it because we are in this part of the world. A colleague of mine always would use the term black and invisible. We're black and we're invisible. And she uses the term in the sense that we're here and we're not heard. You see us, but it's like we're not here. So we as a people have to realize who we are and why we need to be a community of one people. It doesn't matter the diversity as to where you are coming from, because the world doesn't see us as individual in reference to where we are coming from. It just looks at you and puts you in a box. That's a black man, that's a black woman. We're all in this together. So therefore, we have to realize and acknowledge what's going on in the world to be able to appreciate each other more so. Because when incidents occur in our community, we always or even in the world, we always, well, I know that I do this. Oh my gosh, I wonder if it's one of us. I wonder if it's a black boy. I wonder if it's a black girl. Because whether or not we acknowledge it, it impacts us because of how the world view us. So community is important. Our community is important, and building those healthy community is important where we can acknowledge, accept each other. We know that there is areas that we might not see eye to eye on, but it's okay. It's okay because you're gonna have that in every groups. It doesn't matter, but we need to find out who we are, know who we are as a people, embrace each other, want to work with each other, and realize that we're very powerful people.
Interesting.
We're very powerful people. So our community is made up of people from different walks of life, but we share a lot of similarities, commonalities, and we need to understand what those are in order for us to blossom into the people that we ought to be.
Awesome. I mean, I'm happy that we're able to identify and explain to the audience what a community is based on, as she said, the commonalities, the things that bring us together, our common grounds. Now, the focus is, there's one thing to know about your community, and then there's another thing for your community to be wretched or for your community to be in a mess, right? So that is why there's a term people have been using during our community building. So what's your opinion, or what's your view on community building? What is that all about?
Well, community building is people coming together for a set cause, a purpose. They either care about the community that they're living in, the people that they're living in that area with, what are the concerns that they have, how are they going to resolve these issues collectively, who is going to take on the leadership role in reference to getting these issues moved and addressed. Because community building is taking the interests of your citizens into concern. What are the needs? How can this community be better, get better? How can we provide them with structures that they need in order for them to be successful? And success comes in so many different ways, whether it's their education, whether it's the environment that they're living in, whether it's their socioeconomics. What are the businesses that is developed in that area to support that community? What business can they themselves inject into that community? What is it that they want to see? What outcomes, social impacts? So it's a huge building block, but it has to be built in a way that is going to protect the people that resides in that community. So it's like they have their own government. And that within that government is taking care of the people's need, addressing them so they are not feeling isolated, not feeling that there's no one there and there's no support. We have to think about the village mentality. If we can go back there, the village took care of the sick, the needy, the children, the mom, the dad, any issues, they bring it to who? The elders, and they basically solve the problem. So we need to be able to go back to basics and understand what community is about and how we're going to deal with the members in that community's issues and concerns. Because if it impacts one, it should impact all.
Most times we don't know the importance of community building. Why do you think people don't have that community building mindset?
It happens because of lack of knowledge. That's one. Two, when you are in a new community, you try to assimilate with that community.
Yeah.
You tend to park your community's values, principles, and adapt to something else. And then you've got all these labels pouring on you, different labels, you just don't know where to. Some just don't want to be involved. Some wants to isolate themselves, look outside the box, move with others, because they feel, oh, we're not getting anywhere, we're not doing this. But if we look at where we're coming from, Sankofa, go back, we will know where we're going. We'll know that we need our community, we need our people in order to be a strong, I'm going to say a strong nation, a strong group. We can't be an individual trying to do work for the community. It doesn't work. We need each other because we need to pull on each other's strength, each other's trust, integrity, reliability, be accountable to each other, and really understand that we're doing this for the benefit of our people, the next generation and beyond. So we have to put in that work. People haven't looked at diversity in regards to the people that are here and realize that they're human beings. How are we going to look at them and giving them the equity that they need to feel accepted in a place that is new to them when we basically isolate them, we label them, we put them at the bottom, we give them all these titles that demoralize their character. So when we think about it, if we are labeling people, DEI, okay, and not just looking at them as individual who are here for the same purpose that we are placed here for, what are we doing? We're putting them again in a box because all of us should have equal rights. No one should feel that they are not equitable or not equal to the next person. Because right there, your human rights is being infringed upon. And we've been fighting these issues for so long. So when do we make those changes? When the community realizes that, yes, we need to build together, we need to come together as one people, we need to do the work because you're no different than I am. Because if others outside of the community see you differently, because that is where our struggle is. Inside have to accept us first. Inside our community has to accept us first. Once you're accepted inside, you're coming together to be able to dissolve the issues outside. That makes sense?
So you're saying that if the inside is not solidified, or if the inside people don't feel like they belong or they're welcome, then how do we expect the outsiders to respect our community when we ourselves disrespect our own community?
Absolutely.
So what would determine the external recognition of our community as an entity of significance is when we place that value on our community. And then the government, the external factors now be able to recognize and respect our voices when we raise concerns affecting our community.
Yes, because you won't just have one person sitting at the table to represent a community who have no knowledge as to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because when you go, you're going to go now in droves. Your voice will be heard.
Yeah, this is the voice of the people, not the voice of a person, the voice of the people.
So the community building starts from within. We shared values, principles. There might be diversity, but we are one voice. We have a common cause. We talk about black anti-racism. How many years have we been talking about that? How far have we reached today with that? You'll hear lots of groups talk about, but we're doing this and we're doing that. Guess what? Realistically, what have we accomplished? Stats-wise. How many blacks are in, for example, where we live, in this city? What is the ratio of success? Bringing them closer together, working together, getting their issues resolved. How close are we? How close are we? How many of our people are still suffering? How many of our people are still wanting to get the support that they need and they're not getting it? How many of us, realistically, are putting roadblocks in front of our very own? We got to call a spade a spade, and an ace an ace. So community building is needed. However, community building will be acceptable, will get to true values when we identify that we are the same people. We might have some diversity, but we share commonalities, as you've said. Yes?
I think what's making this especially my generation that is coming up, where we don't know our history.
No.
And as a result of us not knowing our history, we're not able to identify with each other. Instead, we take other people's history and make it our own history. Like you said, it's lack of information, lack of knowledge, lack of awareness of who we really are from the origin, from the foundation. And then that could also be we're ashamed of who we are because of the stigma that has been out there when it comes to this particular community. What are the impact of community building in terms of the benefits? Speak to the audience to really let them know that, hey, if you have this community building mindset and take the initiative or start talking about it and start doing something about it, these are the benefits that it's going to do for us as a whole, as a people.
Okay, so I want us to think about this. I want you to imagine having a community where you feel safe, you have great leaders in the community, you have access to education, you're being heard, because that's one of the things we're hearing about young people. They're not being heard. Their interest is not being put into context as to what their needs are. So providing you with the support and the services that you need. So you have a thriving community that have all the amenities that it needs in order to be a successful community. So you have your school, you have your banks, you have your companies, different companies that you can be hired in. You could own your own business. You're having people who are inspiring you, leadership. A community that everyone feel a sense of belonging. We bring our ideas from back where we're coming from. We have our own farming. We have our own food. Cost of living is high. We can build our own homes. We have a say. We are sitting at the tables with other governments to say this is what we want, and we are being heard. We're being listened to. No one is feeling oppressed. So think about that. No one is feeling oppressed. Nobody is feeling, oh my gosh, I have no sense of belonging here because I am not welcome here. This is your community because you're contributing to the development of that community. You are involved. You want the very best for that community. So think about a place where you see yourself and think about it as that's how my community should be. So then ask yourself, how can I get involved with members of society who truly believe in the model of community building and the benefits We become rich because we become now our own government. We become self-reliant. And that's the ultimate goal. When a people can be self-reliant, it makes a huge difference. Let's look at how Chinatown is developed. And we still go there, we support them. Okay, when we go to the Asian community, South and North communities, we support their businesses. Why are we not supporting and developing our own businesses? But first we need to identify who are the key people that is going to help us to come together. And these are people that should and must love their own and wanting to see changes, wanting to go beyond the call, wanting to put themselves out there. We had great, amazing leaders in the past. Do we have great, amazing leaders today who are willing to put themselves on the front line for their people, their community? See the difference. So if we want that community that is going to provide us with the benefit that we want, are you ready to pick up the mantle, the baton? Are you ready to work? Are you ready to work? And that's a question I'm going to throw back out there. Because in order to have that community, there's work involved.
Yeah.
There is work involved.
We have a long way to go. So what's your final word to the audience?
We need to get involved. We need to be ready. We need to want to have a just society for us. We need to want to ensure that every boy, every girl is safe and secure, can grow up to full maturity. No more killing, no more shooting, no more losing a family member, just for us to thrive in a successful way. For us to work together, to build together, to recognize the strength of our people. We're one of the strongest race in this world. If only we realize who we are. Do we or do you realize who you are and the wonderful qualities that you possess?